In several of the comments I have seen, people have asked for tips on how to make hosting a little less stressful. Maybe some tips and tricks can make hosting slightly easier. Today I am covering some of the key points that help me in general, right from deciding the menu to executing the decor or table arrangement. Having said that, it's important to remember that everyone has their own preferred approach to hosting gatherings and preparing food. Using a tea bag to infuse my recipe with flavors of whole spices and the color of dark tea has been quite helpful. Without having to wash a cloth or sieve afterwards, this can be simply put into trash. It's a simple but effective move that will only make winding up work much simpler. Make your life easy and cook in a way that you have minimal dishes to wash and clean later. I'll share how I'm able to achieve that in a slightly later part of the video. But first I thought I'd continue on my resolution for this year, and so here I am saving this water from soaked cholas to water my plants. I don't see how chickpeas, which are a natural ingredient, could be harmful for the soil. If at all feasible, put the oven to good use instead of the stovetop whenever you can. Using this method, you can multitask, as the oven may be used for other tasks while you tend to the first. At the moment, I'm roasting carrots to use in a warm salad. I could spend the same amount of time roasting them in the pan, but this method is much more efficient for me.
If you want somebody else, who am I to judge? I've been thinking about you all the time. That's all right.
Here, chop some carrots and sprinkle them with salt, pepper, and a generous amount of oil. We will later use the water that is released by the carrots, which will also include this seasoning. Using a baking paper instead of a silicone mat again to only simplify the end process and avoid more washing in the end.
So alone. I met you in
It's always a good idea to have a chopper in hand if possible, if not for daily use but for such occasions. Even though this recipe is a straightforward one, we'll ultimately modify it slightly. For the time being, we'll be browning some finely chopped onions and roasting jeera in hot oil.
talking to myself now and then. I'll try to laugh, but I'll cry a bit as well. I was never any good at being a wife.
I'm going to be using it to bulk chop onion and puree the tomatoes for the chola recipe that I'm making for dinner.
Guess that we were wrong. I met you in the summer. Our love was out of control. I've been going crazy without you. I'm so alone. I met you in the
Tomato puree and ginger garlic paste would be added to that. Make sure to cook this part properly along with all the spices.
I met you in the summer. You know it still hurts a little bit, but not that much. 'Cause if you want
Enhance the flavors of your dishes by using pre-mixed masalas or spices. Today I'm going to be using a store-bought chole masala, and so I hardly need to add any other spice as such. Adding the cooked cholas now, and I can easily discard the tea bag in the wet bin. This step is really helpful in my opinion.
I'm so alone. I met you in the
For your visitors, alter the appearance and flavor of the identical dish. The highlight of this dish and my final addition to chola recipe is some finely chopped spinach. With this straightforward change, the same recipe will taste brand new. If you haven't already, try it. Fancifying things in this manner is a good technique to give plain dishes a fresh look. Choose recipes that can be largely prepared ahead of time. In this case, I had boiled rice from a day before. Keeping it in the fridge ensures that they are no more sticky and make a nice khila kind of pulao. I added some ghee in which I sprinkled lots of jeera. Adding onions to that and frying them only till the point they become slightly soft and sweet. After that I added the peas. Salt, pepper and a touch of garam masala in the end. Assembling this took no more than 10 minutes. So here's a tip. Cover the rice and keep it off the flame for 10 minutes. The steam will bring back the much needed moisture into this recipe. My next recipe can be made in both veg and non-veg format. I have used marinated chicken, but marinated veggies would be just fine. My marination includes yogurt and all the basic spices like salt, red chili powder, coriander powder or dhania, haldi or turmeric and jeera powder. I added 2 slit green chilies as well. The twist in this dish is adding coconut milk to cook the rice. Yes, that'll make the dish different and yet again make it stand apart from the common chicken or vegetable rice. It's also important to remember to assemble the fresh ingredients at the very end. Specifically, the salad called for carrots to be prepared ahead of time and then assembled with the greens and cheese as a last step. Add the juice released from carrots at this point if you wish. It's a common practice in food photography to finish a plate off with the same ingredient that was used to make the dish itself. To make it more appetizing, I added a little of bundi here and the same spices again at the very end. Also, bundi added in the end has a satisfying crunch to it. Set the table in a way that is most convenient for your guests. We had some elderly guests coming, so I removed any obstruction that could make it difficult for them to grab the food items. Your personal but little touches can really make the entire event into a memorable one. I added a touch of these printed napkins. The only difference is that as it was getting close to Christmas, I folded them to resemble little Christmas trees. You can tell it's a casual get-together because the flatware is angled. Doing this helps convey a sense of ease and relaxed atmosphere during the get-together. Now I'll get to the advice I promised at the start of the video. To save a lot of time cleaning up after a party, try preparing food with utensils that double as serving pieces. Given that there were no placemats included, I thought it might be great to have coasters instead. If you don't want to decorate but want a lovely comfortable touch, especially at dinner, candles are always an option and give a beautiful impression. Worrying about things is pointless, so my last and most crucial piece of advice is to not worry. What really matters is the time and care you spend into making their experience pleasant and relaxing. I hope these basic pointers make hosting and entertaining visitors a little less daunting for you all. Some of you are already fantastic at it, and if you can share some amazing pointers with the rest of us, that would be awesome. Let's talk more about this in the comments section. Until next time, see ya later folks.